You're watching The 7 from WATE 6 on your side.
Good evening, I'm Bo Williams, and welcome to The 7. We are starting with breaking news tonight. One of two escaped inmates now caught. Christopher Webb, wanted out of Cott County, taken into custody in Morristown. This is according to the Cott County Sheriff's deputies and the U.S. Marshals Smoky Mountain Fugitive Task Force. Webb got away from a work detail last week along Highway 25E. We're told Webb has been taken to the Jefferson County Sheriff's Office for holding with new felony charges pending. But again, that coming in just a few moments ago. Now, a second suspect who also got loose with Webb, Eric Ballard, still on the run at this hour. Of course, we'll keep you posted on the search. Now, let's get a look at the big 7 stories topping our list tonight. Medal of Honor recipients visiting East Tennessee schools, part of the National Medal of Honor celebration. You know, we had a crew at Northview Academy of students and faculty line the hallways to welcome Medal of Honor recipient Brian Thacker. Our own veteran, Don Dare, introduced Thacker to an assembly comprised of students completing a course in civics that they have been working through for months. Now, Thacker sharing his experience in Vietnam from 1971, staying behind to cover the retreat as North Vietnamese forces closed in, trapping Lieutenant Thacker behind enemy lines.
There is no I in team. So when I'm talking about that day, if I ever say I, hit me alongside the head, because there was no I up there that day. It was all we.
I think the main thing that I learned from him is persistence. He was obviously put through a lot of trials and tribulations.
What I took away was like the definition of true American patriotism. So that display of courage and grit that he showed in those 8 days in isolation, and the way he was willing to sacrifice his own life to save his men, that was truly inspirational.
Medal of Honor recipients were also visiting Knoxville Catholic High School this morning. The message is not just about bravery on the battlefield. These heroes want young people to know they too can do something amazing, and they don't have to be in full uniform. Now, as you can see, the day actually started off in dramatic fashion with a National Guard Black Hawk helicopter carrying Medal of Honor recipients landing at World's Fair Park in downtown Knoxville ahead of a breakfast event that's part of the Medal of Honor celebration running through week's end.
And we've been treated just like royalty as we came into Knoxville, and since we've been here, met so many nice people. Very patriotic town here, and we are so lucky to be able to come to Knoxville here in 2022.
National Medal of Honor celebration runs through Saturday. Interest in the gathering has been so great, we understand. Tickets to all the seats at all this week's events are now sold out. Next on our list for you tonight, a home in Fountain City for people with cerebral palsy is now the center of controversy. This after residents were given a day's notice to leave the property. According to management, over the weekend, a decision was made to have residents leave early after the Cerebral Palsy Center was unable to find people to staff the house. But those who live at the home say they are being mistreated and forced to find other accommodations with no time to do so. WAT spoke with both the executive director for the home and residents to learn how they got to this point.
A group of people gets together, makes a family, not your normal family, not your brothers and sisters, but due to living together, please don't let anybody else be separated.
It is difficult for many businesses in many different industries to remain afloat. And nonprofits and housing for people with disabilities is no different. That is what's been going on here. And then with no staff, we can't stay open. That would not be safe.
The Cerebral Palsy Center tells us it has offered various places for residents to go through partnerships with groups such as the Salvation Army and Samaritan Place. Also, the center wants to emphasize the organization is not shutting down. It's just this particular home. So we'll continue to follow this for you. All right, next now on the Big 7 at 7, we're hearing tonight from a family offering a reward, hoping to get some answers in a deadly hit and run. We've been telling you Gary Birchfield was hit on August 4th off Peach Orchard Road in Maryville. His son, Grant, tells us that Gary was going to go grab the mail outside his home. That's when Grant says his mother called him and asked for help finding his father. Now, once he arrived minutes later, he found his dad in a grassy area near the mailbox off to the side of the road. The family later learned from doctors that Gary had been struck by a vehicle. Now they are hoping someone will step forward with more information.
Really hard to understand why they wouldn't stop to help him if they knew that they had hit my father. But at any rate, we're We're just trying to find some answers to what happened.
Anyone with information that can help investigators is asked to call this number. It's 865-273-5155. All right, this next Big 7 story for you is a last-minute change ahead of the start of the Tennessee Valley Fair. Today, the fair announced it is limiting access for minors on Fridays and Saturdays. The fair says everyone under the age of 18 must be accompanied by a parent or guardian who is 21 or older after 7 those nights. Now, we'll get you that video in a second. Their new policy also says that any group that has more than 6 minors will require an additional parent or guardian. Now, the Tennessee Valley Fair gets underway on Friday at Chilhowie Park. It's going to run through the 18th. There will be rides and fair food as well as special events, plus concerts will be held 8 of the 10 nights. Tickets, by the way, are available both online and at the door. Next on the Big 7 at 7, it's been more than a year since the parking lot of Soaky Mountain Water Park in Cerebral looked something like this, a crime scene after a shooting. Now a woman who survived that July 31st, 2021 encounter is suing the park and the 2 people named by police as suspects. You may remember one person died in the shooting. According to the lawsuit, the plaintiff, Angie Russell, was shot in the leg. The park, along with Sarah Romine and Joshua Daniels, are named as defendants. Now, police accuse Romine of firing the shots. Daniels was charged with having a gun while drunk. Russell's lawsuit claims the park did not do enough to stop the shooting, arguing that Romine and Daniels were overserved despite being visibly drunk. You may remember this was one of several alcohol-related incidents at Soaky Mountain last year. Now, the lawsuit points to those prior incidents, claiming the park did not respond with reasonable precautions. Russell is asking for $1 million in damages. Up next, First Lady Jill Biden and U.S. Secretary of Education Miguel Cardona are making a stop in Knoxville on Monday. We're told they'll be both here and in Greensboro, North Carolina, to kick off their Road to Success back-to-school bus tour. The goal with this tour is to showcase how schools are utilizing American Rescue Plan funds. The First Lady and Secretary Cardona will also highlight recruiting and training educators. And our final Big 7 story for you tonight has our eyes looking to the skies. Crews are busy setting up the Smoky Mountain Air Show. It's coming up this weekend. Some of the aircraft you'll be able to see are now at McGee-Tyson Air Base. And today we got a sneak peek, also hearing from an East Tennessee teacher who will fly with the Blue Angels. John Hall is a teacher at Cumberland County High School. Their mascot just happens to be, what else? The Jets. Hall was nominated by a friend to fly with the Blue Angels, and you know what? He never thought he would actually be selected.
I got, called and it was the Blue Angels, and they're like, hey, you are a key influencer for the Knoxville Air Show, and I'm like running around my house, like screaming and hollering. I'm like, oh my gosh, I mean, it was like the most surreal, I cannot believe this is actually happening.
And a change we do want to pass on that we just learned about today. Because of the forecast, organizers say parking passes for the air show will now be valid for one or both days.